So after your run, it's really important to make sure you stretch out your hamstrings, your hips, and your lower back. So begin by separating your feet, lift your quads. Take a huge breath in, extend, and on your exhale, fold. Bring your hands to the floor. That might be where you stop. You can begin to crawl your hands in between your feet. You're sliding your shoulder blades down your back, so you move your shoulders away from your ears. And if you can, bend your elbows here. If you get low enough, you want there to be a straight line from your elbows to your wrists. And you press into the floor with your hands, and you press into the floor with your feet. That's important. You keep your quads lifted, and make sure you're not hyperextending your knees. On your inhale, come up halfway. Place your right hand directly under your face and reach your left hand up to the ceiling. Press out of your right hand. Make sure you're not sinking down in that bottom shoulder, and squeeze the floor with your feet. Releasing the left hand down, take the right hand up and press. Don't collapse the arches of the feet, and don't hyperextend your knees. All right, as you exhale, release. All right, interlace your hands behind your back. Bend your knees a little bit. Press your hands away from you, taking your hands out over your head. Now you can keep your knees slightly bent here, or you can slowly, through a couple of breaths, start to straighten to your own degree. Notice my feet are slightly turned in. You want a little bit of an internal rotation in your legs. And then you're just gonna crawl yourself around to that right foot. Scoot your back foot back, sink down into a lunge. Notice I'm always up on my fingertips in my lunge because you wanna keep your spine straight. So again, you're drawing through your back heel and drawing through your front knee. You're just gonna drop the back knee, peel your belly off your thigh, lift your heart towards the ceiling. You start to sink your hips towards the front foot. And you're gonna place your left elbow on the outside of your right knee, make a little shelf out of your hand. Place your right hand on top of the left, press and twist. Gaze up past your right elbow. Notice I have elbow, wrist, elbow in a straight line, and the shoulders are sliding down your back, so you get a nice shoulder stretch out of it as well. And then just breathe deep and slow. Releasing that. Shift your weight back so that your left hip is directly over your knee, and straighten out your right leg. Pull your toes back to your face and pull your heart to your toes. Keep your back straight. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you walk your hands forward a little bit. Maybe you draw your face and your belly towards your leg and drop down to your forearms. It doesn't matter how deep you go. What matters is that your spine is straight and that you're pulling your toes back to your face. On your inhale, come all the way up. And then crawling your hands back a bit, bend your right knee deep again. Step your right foot out to the right of footprint. Put both of your hands to the inside of your foot. This is a deep stretch. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you take your left forearm down to the floor. Maybe you get your right forearm down. Try not to let your right knee splay out to the right. So you're drawing your knee in towards that right shoulder, and just sink in to stretch your hips. If you want to, you can grab a hold of the right knee and pull it in close. Just take a few breaths, and then straighten your arms again. Bend your back knee, reach back with your right hand, pull your heel towards your bum. So you're gonna stretch your thigh and your knee here. And if you're a little more flexible and you wanna spin your hand around so your fingers face the same direction as your toes, you can get a nice shoulder stretch out of it. And then if you want, you can roll to the outer edge of your right foot and let your right knee drop open a little bit for a deeper hip stretch. Try not to sink down in your left shoulder, and just breathe directly into the places you feel it the most in the pose. And then releasing that, you're gonna just slowly straighten up and crawl yourself all the way around to the left foot, coming into a nice deep lunge. Scoot your right foot back a little bit. Make sure your left knee is directly over your left ankle. Sink into your lunge and drop your back knee. Untuck your toes, peel up off your front thigh, inhale your heart to the ceiling, and melt your hips towards your front foot. Taking your right elbow to the outside of your left knee, make a little plate, press the left palm into the right hand, and press your right elbow into your knee to twist. Breathe all the way down your spine. Your breath really helps to open up from the inside when you're twisting. And make sure you're rooting down with the front foot heel to draw the outer hips into the midline for stability. Gazing up past your elbow, huge breath, and then unwind and shift your weight back so your right hip's directly over your right knee. Flex your left foot, pull your toes to your face, and your heart to your toes. Maybe you walk your hands forward an inch. Maybe you bring your forearms to the floor. It's not about getting your face to your shin. It's about keeping your leg nice and straight, and it's about keeping your spine elongating. So maybe you just pull your toes back towards your heart and you just breathe and surrender. Coming back up, bend the left knee again, sinking the hips towards the front of the mat. Reach back with your left hand and grab your right foot, pulling that foot close in. Maybe you stay there, maybe you spin your fingers around and sink. Allowing yourself, if you want a deeper hip stretch, to roll to the outer edge of your left foot and let your knee splay open a little bit. Pressing out of the right hand. Breathe into every single space you feel it in this pose. And then releasing your back leg, crawl yourself around to the middle and shift your weight so you're squatting down onto the right leg. The left toes point up to the ceiling, and then you switch to the other side nice and slow. Flow with your breath. Trying to lift your heart a little bit, and then staying back on the right side. Take your right hand, place it right in front of the toes on the right foot, and press your arm against your leg to open up. Take your left hand up to the ceiling, twist all the way up, shine your front body up to the ceiling, and then release, switching sides. Shift over into the left foot squat, right toes point up to the ceiling. You'll feel it in your groin. Pressing that left arm against the left knee, open up, reach up to the ceiling, gaze up. Keep pressing your arm against your knee, and then release. Both hands come to the left foot, step back into your downward facing dog, and then tuck your toes and sit down onto your feet. This can be really intense. You're stretching the soles of the feet, really important for running. Good, interlace your hands behind your back. Draw your arms straight. Take a huge breath into your chest. If you need to have your hands on the floor and have less weight on your feet, that's okay too. Just breathe and try not to fight it. Relax into your feet. Releasing here, hands and knees. Just pound the tops of your feet on the floor for a moment and sit back on your heels and breathe. This will stretch your thighs and your knees. All right. And that's the end of your post-run stretch.